Hey guys, I'm sitting here having dinner. As you can see, I'm having some me time eating Taco Bell. I'm eating a vegetable bowl. And I had some thoughts that was going through my head, and I was talking to a friend of mine. And it's amazing because when you talk to certain people and you're talking about different subjects, there's just a flow sometimes that comes that I'm like, wow, the stuff that God reveals. But it was something that I just had to just record this and say, you know what? Let me record this for women, because what I have noticed is in this day and time, when it comes to how we are dating and how we are entering into relationships, it's no wonder that we have a history and a pattern of walking into toxic relationships. And I think we have a history and a pattern because we don't understand who we are. We don't understand how proper dating should take place. We don't value who we are, so we allow anybody to date us. We allow anybody to enter into our circle. And then what happens is these people that enter in our circle, we wind up frustrated because we're repeating patterns that we don't even understand or realize how they've even gotten there. One of the patterns in particularly is if you've grown up with a mom that had to do whatever she had to do, especially as a single parent. She had to do whatever it is that she had to do to maintain the household, to put food on the table. There's a lot of sacrifices she had to make. So she had to take on an independent mindset to where she had to say, you know what, I'm going to have to do this and even if I have to do this alone. And sometimes watching your mother or watching your mother as a single, I'm talking about single moms first, and then I'll talk about parents that have both families that have both parents in the house. So as a single mom, you don't even realize that subconsciously it's being embedded in your mind as a young girl. This is how you're supposed to operate. You're supposed to be independent. You're going to be independent, and you don't even realize it's being embedded in your mind until you see it walked out in your relationships and in your adult life. And so what happens is, when you start to interact with men and you start to formulate relationships with them, you take on that mindset that's been there subconsciously. That independent mindset you start to see it displayed in your relationships. So now you're in a relationship, and there's nothing wrong with being independent when you have to be. If you have to be independent, you have to make things happen. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against women being able to do things, hey, power to the women. But the point that I'm making is, when you're trying to enter into a relationship with somebody, you have to take on a different mindset. And I'm not talking about dumbing down and not doing anything. I'm just talking about changing how you interact with that person, meaning that you have to, and sometimes you can't even be able to get to that point until you understand who you are. There's some thought processes and there's some changes in your thinking that has to take place to operate in a healthy relationship, because most of us have seen toxic relationships all of our lives. There aren't a whole lot of examples of healthy relationships that have been embedded as much as the toxic relationships have, especially if you grew up with parents who were and that are from the 60s and 70s. There was a lot of things going on in that era. And so when I think about it, you think about your mom, and she's had the independent mindset. She's had to, for whatever reason, had to have that independent mindset so she can keep things, so she can maintain the household and taking care of you guys. You go into a relationship, or you attempt to go into a relationship with somebody, and what you do is you take on that same, not realizing, you take on that same mentality, that independent mindset, and then what happens is you having trouble relating with the person that you're trying to get to know. And what I mean by having trouble relating mean God naturally made men to be protectors and to be providers. And so what we do is we step in, especially if you've been married before, and the marriage didn't work out. We step into this independent mindset because we're thinking about, one, what we've seen with our parents or our mother in this situation, in this particular circumstance. You see what your mother has done. You might have been married before. You might have been in a marriage that didn't work, and then you enter into a dating relationship, and you already have experienced what it is like to be a wife. So now you go in and you don't even take the time to really explore the person that you're getting to know. So to see if they even fit to be a protector and provider for you and your children, if you have children, or for you, period. So what happens is you go in and there's a whole bunch of conflict because he's trying to operate in at the level he's trying to operate at the level that he's at. He's trying to be the protector and the provider in the sense of taking, being able to lead in certain areas. And because you are so used to doing everything, you start to initiate everything in a relationship. You're initiating all the dinner dates. You're initiating you're doing all the initiating. He doesn't feel like he has to chase you or try. So what happens is you wind up, it's crazy to when I'm thinking about it in my head. So what happens is you wind up doing the chasing because you're independent. You're used to making stuff happen. You're used to making sure things go the way you want it to go because that's what you've seen. So now you're initiating all the dates. You're initiating all the everything that's in a relationship. So now he doesn't feel like, what do I need? Why do I have to step up in? You haven't allowed him to kick in his role as a male to kick in. And I'm not talking about him acting like a husband and or you acting like a wife, meaning that we are so fast to go straight to relationships when we're meeting people instead of taking time to get to know that person and giving them the opportunity to flow in their natural ways in dating. It's just like with a cat and dog, with cats and dogs and animals. There's a natural flow in entering in relationships with animals. They just know what to do. We're the only ones that have a problem because of the way because of the things that we go through. Our life experience play a role in how we view relationships. And so you're in a relationship. You're getting to know this person as friends, and you're initiating everything. You've already stepped into the wife role. And so you're skipping over a major step where when you're getting to know somebody, you're watching them. You're watching how they handle disagreements. You're watching how they handle interacting with you. Watching how they treat their mother. You watching how they treat their children. But instead, some of us, we go straight into relationships. And what I mean by that is you haven't even gotten a chance to examine anything that there is to see if this person is a credible person to leak. Because the purpose of dating is, I would hope, that people are still dating for the intent purposes of getting married. But I do understand that the time that we live in now, people are kind of just creating their own zones, and there's no respect for marriage anymore. So people are just hooking up, and what I've realized is that we're skipping over the beginning stages or getting to know if that person is capable enough to lead. Getting to know if that person is, how do they handle their finances? How do they handle, we're skipping over, how are they interacting with their family? How do they get along with their mother? We're skipping past that. We're going straight into relationship mode. What I mean, because a lot of times it don't wind up ending in relationships. You just go in relationship mode in your head. And so what happens is you get disappointed because now you've kicked into overdrive and you are so independent. You're initiating stuff. You've already determined that you guys are in a relationship. You're on the road to marriage in your head, and you haven't even had a chance to examine this person and to and allow him to prove him capable enough to be worthy to be in that role in your life. So what happens is, you jump into this relationship. Now he's used to receiving, because now he's like, oh well, I don't have to do anything because she's doing all the work. She's doing all the giving. I don't have to reciprocate anything. And now 6 months go by, A year go by. Now you're frustrated because you're not getting the reciprocation that you know you deserve. You're not getting that reciprocation because you done jumped into relationship. You done jumped into wife mode, and you're taking over the relationship. You're steering the relationship, and you haven't even got on the same page to even see if you're even in a relationship yet. So you have spearheaded ahead, and here you are. Now you get frustrated over a period of time because now you're not getting the reciprocation that you feel like that you know that you're looking for, because now you're in wife mode. You're expecting him to be in husband mode, and he hadn't even got, and he's looking at you like, you got this. You got this. You have taken off. You got this. And then what happens is his attention slowly starts to pull back from you. Because you got it. He doesn't feel that need to really prove himself. He doesn't feel the need to show you that he's a provider and a protector. He doesn't feel the need to show you that to exhibit how valuable you are, because you have pretty much spearheaded the relationship and just took him along the way. And so what happens is you got another person that comes across his path that he may not even realize, may not even intentionally, meant to be in. Okay, I take that back. Maybe he didn't even, well, I'll put it this way. It may be another female that come across his presence. And what happens is he starts to develop a friendship with her. And then she begins to allow him to court her. And what we don't understand is there's a lot of things that take place in courting that we need to pay attention to before you get to the point of relationship. When you think about back in the day, when people entered into marriages, they dated, they went through what's called a courtship, which means that person had an opportunity to, you got to know that person, you got to know what they're like, you're going through that getting to know stage without being in a wife or husband position. You're getting to know each other, you're learning things about who, and then what happens is as your friendship progresses, then you start moving into relationship once you felt like this person is capable or appropriate or is the best fit for my life. So what happens is another female comes into his presence and establishes a friendship with her. And then what happens is she knows who she is. Let's say she's a woman who knows who she is, and they begin to court, and she begins to slow down and allow him to court her and allow him to discover, to unfold and discover things about her slowly without her giving it all at once and taking charge. Then what happens is his heart starts to turn towards her, and then we get pissed off because we like, you should be in a relationship with me, and you did that, and you should, and all that I've done. And then all of a sudden you get frustrated because you think about all the things that you've done, that you initiated, all the things and times that you invested into this relationship. And now, because you have taken over, now he's over here, his attention is on this female right here, because she's allowing him to court her. She's making him work for her, making him earn, her attention, making him earn. And I'm not saying that arrogantly. I mean, like, making him earn and her love, making him earn and not giving him. She's just giving him a little at a time. And then what happens is his desire for her starts to turn into a chase. And next thing you know, he's running after her. And he's running away from you. And now you're sitting back and you're heartbroken and you're frustrated. And now you're mad. And now you want to fight. And now you want to get all, you get upset. And now you don't trust men because you feel like all men are dogs. And no, it's not that all. It's just that you have to change your mindset. We have to learn who we are as women. Understand your value. Understand how this relationship thing works. Understand that courtship is important. You want to give yourself enough time to be able to get to know them before you start connecting your heart to them. You want to give him the opportunity you want to create an opportunity where there's a chase. He's not going to chase you if you taking off and you just grabbing him and snatching him with you. That's not a chase. What's happening is he's just going, he's just like going with like a little dummy, just following. And for some men, especially some men that are mature and that understands this process, some men will just let go of your hand and just turn altogether. But then there will be some men that just may not want to hurt your feelings, and so they'll just kind of go with it for a while, and then eventually, as you're going and as you're spearheading into the future, they're withdrawing because they realize that they can't be who they naturally are. Men are natural born, they're chasers, they're hunters by nature. So you're not even giving him the opportunity to hunt and chase and desire you and go after you because you running and you snatching him up with you. You have to give him the opportunity to chase you. And chasing comes in getting to when you're getting to know a person and you're starting to figure out who they are from the inside out, not just through their physical appearance. When you're getting to know them, then what happens is that desire to chase all of a sudden is formed. And next thing you know, the things about you the things that they start to like or desire about you causes them to go after you. Not just one time, but we have to learn. We always talk about men being the chasers, but we have to learn how to position ourselves to steer the chase. We have to learn how to position ourselves mentally, position ourselves physically, emotionally, so that we can learn how to stir up a chase in a man. We're so used to just taking over that we don't give men the opportunity to create a chase. We trying to, it's like, you, and I know that because I've done that before, and I realized that it didn't get me anywhere because I was used to I'm very independent. And so I had to realize that, I had to slow down and realize that not slow down in handling the things that I needed to handle, but I had to change my mindset about how I view men. So if I know that men are chasers by nature, so now I turn my attention to how to enter into the chase. You have to learn how to enter in the chase, not enter in the race. That's good. We have to learn how to enter in the chase, not in the race. And the way you enter in the chase is you position yourself. You position yourself emotionally. You position yourself spiritually. You position yourself physically, financially. So versus when you're when you're in the race, you running everything, you making things work, you orchestrating everything. So I just wanted to say that I want you guys to stop being the chasers and learn how, and stop trying to enter a race and learn how to enter into the chase. And like I said, the way you enter in the chase is positioning yourself. Not running after them, not snatching them with you and telling them we in a relationship and dictating the relationship. You're positioning yourself. And when you position yourself, the mature man looks at you that desires you and says, okay, you know what? I'm going to go after that. And then when you position yourself, guess what? They're going to come for you, and they're going to come. Trust me. But when you position yourself, like relationship is a race, then what happens is you start running past men that don't even give you a second look. And even though they may be physically there, they're not mentally there. They're not emotionally there. They're just physically there. So enter into the chase and not the race.